Hi, today we will be discussing the cities of refuge. We begin in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 14. The land of Israel that the Jews will be going, the nations before them, they were engaged with sorcerers, diviners. This is not what God wants from you. He will give you prophets. The day that God gave the Jewish people the Torah, they heard the voice of God. They actually asked that they didn't want to hear the direct voice of God no more. So God has said, I will give you prophets. They will bring my message to you. Someone who does not listen to them, I will punish. However, if a prophet will say something that he was never commanded to say, or he says things in the name of other gods, he will be punished to death. What happens if you one time ask yourself, how do I know if the prophet is for real or not? The Jewish people actually had that dilemma. They had Hanan ben Azar that stood up and said that they were yet to come back from exile, while on the other hand, you had Tzidkiyahu that was saying only more was coming. Who do you listen to? So the one that you see after his prophecy is not true, then you know he's the liar, and do not fear him, he will be punished. And of course we know that no prophet will ever add or take away from the mitzvahs of the Torah. When you will come to the land of Israel, you shall make for yourselves cities of refuge. Now, what are the cities of refuge about? So, if God forbid by accident, someone was trying to knock down a tree, and he had his axe, and he's hitting that tree, and by mistake that axe broke and hit someone and killed someone. The person who is killed, his family have the right to kill the person who was knocking down that tree. So what he needs to do is to run to a city of refuge. Once he is in a city of refuge, the victim's family members have no right to touch him. So that's why it's important that you make cities of refuge in the land of Israel when you arrive there. Now, the cities of refuge, there were 3. They were split out proportionally equal within the land of Israel. God says, when you will do the Torah and mitzvahs, and I will broaden your land, you should add an additional 3 cities of refuge. When will that happen? It has never happened. That will be in the time of Mashiach. When Mashiach will come, the land of Israel will be broadened, and there will be an additional 3 cities of refuge. However, if someone has hate in his heart, and he went out and he killed someone, and Rashi explains that hate is not a mitzvah, it's an avera. And that is one wrong thing. And that brings him to the next stage of killing someone. Therefore, we should never have hate in our heart to anyone. Period. No hate. If someone did have hate and he went out and did kill someone and then tries to hide himself in one of these cities of refuge, of course, he will be taken out and punished. The mitzvah of today is, again, that we do not do fire on the day of Shabbos, and that will include no punishments from the Jewish court, even no proceedings from Jewish court happen ever on the day of Shabbos. Today's Tanya, we're at the end of chapter 9 in Igeres HaKodesh. We discuss that at different generations, there were different mitzvahs that were, you could say, the main mitzvah of that generation. Not that they didn't do other mitzvahs, but the main mitzvah. The earlier generations, Torah was that concept. And in these later generations, that is just before the coming of Mashiach, tzedakah, giving charity, is that. And why is that? Because just like we're a generation that on a spiritual level, we're not as elevated like many generations back. And we seek the gift of God that He should give us a heart of love and devotion for Him. So we have to act accordingly, which is doing the mitzvah of tzedakah, to give to people that don't have. And by doing that, we get in return the blessing and love of God to our lives. We mentioned that when Mashiach comes, there will be the additional 3 cities. If God forbid someone by accident kills, that you can go somewhere. You can go there. Now, when Mashiach comes, it's going to be a good world. Perfect world. No jealousy, no killing, even by accident. So why now do we need these extra cities of refuge? The answer to that is that when Mashiach will come, there will be the resurrection of the dead. Many generations will all join us. We'll join that great time and era of Mashiach. And throughout this long period of exile, there have been accidental killings, and no one has yet gone to the cities of refuge. So therefore, when Mashiach will come, they will be able to go to the cities of refuge for the accidental killing that had happened through the times of exile. But this also brings us a beautiful message. When Mashiach comes, the city of refuge is there to give protection for no bad to happen. That concept will also be a global concept. When Mashiach will come, there will be no bad within us. We'll have no desire to do bad, and even from the surrounding people around us, there'll be no bad. That's going to be the concept of Mashiach, a godly, perfect, protected world. Have a great day.